Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, May 12th, 2023. What do we have coming in store in the cards for today? Can I please get the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our day off with today is 2 of Pentacles. You have a lot on your plate today. It could be feeling a bit overwhelming. Today is a day of really trying to balance priorities, taking care of a lot of things in the immediate space. This could be a very full schedule for some of you. This could be balancing a lot of different hats today, but getting a lot done. Bear in mind, if you're feeling this, that being able to remember that sometimes just because you can do more than one thing at once doesn't necessarily mean that you should, but we do see here there is a high degree or level of productivity. We've been seeing this a lot during this retrograde, which I actually appreciate. But we're also seeing here that this is a day of trying to get a lot of things done. Though there may be a need to find something to prioritize to help you feel like you are accomplishing something. Next card we have coming through in our 5-card spread right now is oy vey, 10 of Cups in its reversal. This is why we see you moving into some space right now where you're trying to do a lot of things at once. You're trying to balance a lot of priorities, specifically because there is some anxiety about some situations or scenarios that you feel may not be leading to your ideal, ultimate, positive outcome. This could be a point of correction right now, or a point of anxiety of having to weigh a lot of obligations in your life right now and really asking yourself, is this showing that it's going to lead to a long-term productive path going forward, or is that the opposite? You're putting on all this extra weight today. You're balancing these options so that you can understand and get to a point of alignment, closing out the cycles that aren't feeling like they're aligned to your path, moving towards the ones that are. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Center card in our 5-card spread for today. 2 cards in our center card for today. There's that other 10 cards. So again, a moment of completion. And this is in combination with our 8 of Wands in its reversal. Cycles are closing out. You are balancing multiple priorities here, but you are not necessarily planning on doing that long term. What you're really doing right now is you're trying to put a lot of assessment right now on what is not necessarily leading to your ideal outcome versus the situations and scenarios that you are instead observing but are just requiring you to do a lot of heavy work in the interim. And how are you making this decision right now? You are making this decision based on the communication, whether the communication is consistent, whether it is robust, whether it is healthy, or whether you feel like it is flagging, it is a little uncertain, it is not necessarily completely positive. This is what is allowing your proofing ground right now to ask what is working or what you're willing to put the work into for that long-term goal versus something that you feel might not necessarily be bringing you to that ideal circumstance in the future. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. The next card we have coming through in our 5-card spread right now is 5 of Pentacles. There is an abandonment wound being triggered here. Something about the lack of communication around some situations and circumstances right now is triggering that abandonment wound. It is making you kind of take on a lot of obligations right now, trying to do as much as possible, potentially even as a way to distract against the abandonment wound. This could be someone who puts in a lot of energy and in present work and physicality to try to move through moments of the abandonment wound being triggered. But this also feeling like because some communication is not consistent right now, it is stirring up this abandonment wound and really making you put a lot of assessment into what is worth the effort right now versus what is not necessarily leading you to that ideal long-term outcome that you're desiring. Final card for our 5-card spread before we start getting clarification on these cards is the Fool. We've been seeing this, the start of a new journey. This is feeling like a new beginning, that there is an energy here. While you are balancing a lot of opportunities right now, There is a moment of really questioning yourself at this moment and asking yourself, are the things that I'm balancing right now really leading me to the long-term future outcome that I desire? Or are they leading me to putting in a lot of effort and energy not towards that, focusing on that? But we do see here that with the abandonment wound being triggered, there is a feeling that if someone doesn't get that confirmation that these are leading to the outcome that they desire, someone is off to the races. Someone is ready to embark. Someone is ready to just move on, if you will, in this type of energy. Because even though there is a desire here, there is a deep desire and commitment to put in the long-term effort and energy. There is almost a zero tolerance policy coming through right now as it relates to lack of consistent communication. And if there is a lack of consistent communication or non-positive communication, I feel like that's the moment that a lot of this energy is just willing to completely burst away into a new journey, as opposed to potentially putting their energy into something that isn't going to give that long-term possibility or outcome going forward. Continuing to get clarification between these cards right now. This could be feeling like a very frustrating energy right now, because while you have a lot on your plate, while you're balancing a lot of obligations, there is a lot of questioning as to whether these obligations that you're balancing are actually going to lead you to the long-term future plan that you are ideally aspiring for yourself, even while you are feeling somewhat overwhelmed. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now. With the sun in its reversal, this does have a bit to do with affecting the overall mood. This is giving a bit of chicken and egg vibes as well. Are you feeling like this because you're in a grumpy mood today? Or are you in a grumpy mood because you are feeling like this? That is the ultimate question to really face with yourself right now. And I feel like even now, one of the reasons that you're balancing so much weight, you're continuing to do so much of this work right now, is you're asking yourself, am I feeling misaligned in terms of what I'm putting my energy in? Is this not necessarily, you're feeling doubtful about where certain things are headed? But you're also asking yourself if it's just because you're feeling a bit cynical or negative today. I appreciate the fact that the collective energy is one that you are also recognizing that this could be a personal moment that you're experiencing right now, as opposed to whether this is actually the case. And you're letting yourself have this moment to weigh those possibilities by continuing to put your energy into things right now as you try to decide, feeling like there is a moment here that you have to balance these things right now so you can get that clarification point. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Cups in its reversal, in combination with the 10 of Wands in reverse, in its upright, in combination with the 8 of Wands in its reversal. And we saw these two cards just about a week or so ago in the Daily Collective, coming up back to back again, though this one was in its reversal. So having this moment of observation within oneself today, recognizing that you are willing to put the effort and energy into something for the long term, so long as it is leading to the ultimate outcome that you are achieving. But being very mindful right now about whether the work that you're putting in is leading to that ultimate outcome that you are achieving, and utilizing and putting a lot of attention in the communication, in the planning that is coming through right now, or the lack of planning. Something about the lack of planning here or the lack of plans is making you feel doubtful of some of this work that you're doing. Really feeling a bit of limbo energy right now in asking yourself, is this something that is going to work or is it not? Is this something that can be handled? Very retrograde vibes here today. Maybe even experiencing some setbacks in planning that are making you feel that frustration point. May I please have one card to clarify? 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups. This is how you're getting through it right now, right? Again, there is this feeling or anxiety about this potentially being a momentary thing. Because really, even as you're going through this moment of you're having a point of feeling some doubts about the long-term possibilities that you were hoping for because of some plans or some communication that isn't coming through as robustly as you would desire, there is this feeling that is pushing you through right now, because you do feel like there's something about the companionate energy around you right now that feels like it is in the same boat. I need to point this out. This is about an equality right now. This is about an equality of looking at the energy that is reflecting with you right now and really saying to yourself right now, well, is this something that is momentary? Is this something that's happening to both of us? I think it might be. So that is what's allowing you, even at this moment of uncertainty about what the long-term plans are, because of the lack of planning, to push forward right now, because this is feeling like there is a presence right now of an equal companionate energy coming forward right now with this Two of Cups. And really that this equality of energy is what is driving you forward, even in the midst of some of your own doubts and fears that were being triggered by the abandonment wound that we see here on the table. We like this. We like this. This doesn't necessarily need to be romantic. It can be any partnership energy, but it certainly can be with all of this 10 card energy on the table. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Wands in its upright, the 8 of Wands in its reversal, and the 5 of Pentacles. So putting in some work right now, continuing to push forward, even if it's feeling difficult, feeling like this is a point of completion that you're hitting, but also recognizing that there is some anxiety that's being stirred up right now. That even in the midst of a lack of planning or a lack of communication, committing to the process going forward, even in the midst of an abandonment wound being triggered, recognizing the abandonment wound for what it is and not letting it block you or stopping you from moving towards the direction that you're ideally going, even in the face of a lack of communication that is triggering or planning that is triggering the abandonment wound. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with justice, equality. Because even now in this moment, we are seeing here, and this is very intriguing, even now, while you may be experiencing today some momentary setbacks, some plans that have gone astray, some communication that you feel is not flowing the way you would ideally want it to, maybe even some disruptions in the communication, not feeling the consistency you would ideally like, you are still pushing and having some abandonment wound being triggered in the process. You are still pushing through because, just like I said in the last combination of cards, there is a feeling of balance that is coming through right now. There's a feeling that there is something that is balanced. What is feeling balanced? The energy. That this isn't necessarily something that's just happening to you. This is something that's happening with the energy both you and someone else is sharing. So because you're willing to experience it in that way, you are willing to put the effort in it and continue forward because you recognize that the balance is there. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 5 of Pentacles and the Fool energy. And this is what I think is really interesting, because one of the things that we're potentially seeing right now, I'm actually seeing here with this energy, is one of the reasons that this is standing out as different is because what you're doing right now with the abandonment wound triggered is actually a different result than you typically would. It's not your typical way of reacting to the abandonment wound being triggered. An abandonment wound is here. It's being triggered. Your typical situation might not be to continue forward. Your typical situation might be to flee, but we're actually seeing that instead of fleeing, you're using this to adopt a different approach right now that you would typically not take prior to this. This is a new course of action with this abandonment wound being triggered. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Knight of Swords in its upright. This is going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine energy right now, the reason you are allowing yourself to take a different approach, to take a different tactic in this, to experience something and react in a different way than you typically would, is because something about the masculine energy around you right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. You can feel the fact that this energy is trying its best to come towards you, that it is moving with a lot of focus and intentionality towards you right now, that you're feeling that energy coming towards you, even in this moment of feeling some kind of planning or communication blocks. And it is this assertiveness, this clarity of purpose that is giving you confidence to move forward in this direction, even in the face of the abandonment wound being triggered. While for feminine, masculine energy right now, this is a moment you're feeling some communication blocks. You're feeling some hurdles, potentially in planning or communication. You're still willing to put that effort and energy in, even in the face of your own doubts and fears, because you are adopting a new approach, even as the abandonment wound is being triggered. You're not letting it run you away. It's not running you in the opposite direction right now. Instead, you are pushing through the abandonment wound and continuing on your purpose, taking a different tactic than you typically would. Love this for the collective. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now with the Sun in its reversal in combination with the Two of Cups energy. So a moment right now that you may be feeling a little disheartened today. You may be experiencing some of this like retrograde blah due to the frustrations with communication, with the long-term feels like anxieties being triggered. They've got you in a bit of a funk. But also, even in the midst of this, feeling some point of connection right now, feeling some equality of energy that's helping support you even as you go through this moment today. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Empress in its reversal. It's going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy right now, bearing in mind it's not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, there is some feeling of disappointment, because while you are feeling this connection right now with companionate energy, there is this feeling right now, and it's going to be a bit different depending on where you fall on the masculine collective right now. There's two different pathways here. For masculine, this is either feeling right now that the companionate energy that you are aligned with right now isn't necessarily in a space or place where it can come towards you as amorously or with as much desire as it would possibly like right now, or you would potentially ideally desire right now. And this is what's putting you in a bit of a feeling of dismay. Or for some of the masculine energy right now, this could be feeling a bit of frustration, because while you are moving into some kind of equal partnership, there is some outside feminine energy that you still have a lot of attention drawn on right now, that is your heart's desire, or it still has a lot of that heart's desire associated to it, but that you feel is not in a place where they would allow you to come forward, or you feel like you are in disconnection with it. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment where you are moving into feeling this point of harmony, of alignment with companionate energy around you right now, that is creating this point of support for you in this moment. Even though you're not feeling super positive at the moment, you're feeling like today is a bit of a blah day, or feeling a little bit low in terms of your own positivity or energy. And it's having an impact on your ability to feel like you are coming forward in this point of desire, not feeling like you are in your most desirable self, feeling like there is something that is blocking you from fulfilling your desire right now, or feeling like you're out of alignment with that energy of desire that is having an impact right now on the partnership, or blocking you from being able to move towards it in the way you would ideally amorously desire right now. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, clarification between our Two of Cups in combination with our Justice card, in combination with the Eight of Wands in its reversal. So a moment right now of feeling a point of balance for both energies, between feeling a unification, feeling a bit of an equilibrium being reached, feeling that point of balance, which is very intriguing, because even in the midst of some setbacks, some blockages, some lack of communication, some communication not being as robust as you would ideally desire, but not necessarily letting it effectively. And this is where that's the correction of the abandonment wound, not letting it affect your own feelings of the equilibrium in some point of partnership capacity. May I please, this is like recognizing the retrograde for the retrograde in the most productive way possible. May I please have one card to clarify? Two cards coming out to clarify. They are sticking together right now. Feminine, what's going on today? What's going on today, feminine? This is it. This is it. There's this moment right now that we're seeing is being struck right now. And it's going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, this is a feeling that you feel this balance. You feel this equilibrium right now towards the feminine energy. And you're trying to build something strong and supportive around this energy, even in the face of that feminine energy not being able to be as supportive or strong in this moment as you would ideally desire. This has something to do with the fact of the communication breakdowns or the planning breakdowns. There could be something right now, the masculine's looking at the feminine and feeling like they can sense some point of difficulty that the feminine is going through that is blocking some of the ability to communicate or to plan or to build or to even travel towards one another right now. But even in the wake of this, the masculine energy is feeling something stabilizing because there is a unified desire to build something strong and stable going forward. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment where you yourself, again, we're seeing it here. You're not necessarily feeling at your most amorous right now. You're feeling like even now the lack of communication or the lack of planning is making you feel a little bit unstable as it relates to your own self, or even having to address some feelings of instability in this moment right now, but still feeling supported even as you're going through this right now because of some stabilizing energy around you right now that you will feel is creating a sense of balance, creating a sense of equality, that you're not necessarily feeling like you're completely alone in this moment, and getting that point of balance from this energetic union or partnership that is helping you feel fortified and strong, even in a moment where you yourself aren't necessarily feeling your most consistent self. Continuing to complicated reading as always. Continuing to get clarification. I got to figure out where all these cards go because there's so many of them now. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Between the Justice card in combination with our Knight of Swords. So again, for masculine energy, this is a moment that you are moving forward, even as opposed to some immediate setbacks that you're experiencing, particularly even around the feminine energy. You're not letting it kind of stop you. You're driving forward to a degree, like in a way, breaking from your own typical behavior, addressing your abandonment wound in a new way because you sense this balance. While for feminine right now, this is you feeling this sense of balance right now because you sense the presence and manifestation of masculine coming towards you right now with this focused desire, with this focused drive. And that is what is allowing you to feel that support, even with some of the communication or planning not being as strong as you may ideally desire it to be. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now. Whoa, with the devil energy. We cannot escape this card this week. Can't escape this card this week. So what we're really seeing here is this is a moment that is feeling a bit triggering. We do see the abandonment wounds on the table. We do see that there is some triggering energy here with that abandonment wound. And so even now, there is a moment right now, and it's going to feel a bit different for feminine or masculine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine right now, you are trying to drive forward in the best way possible, trying to achieve a point of balance, but this can feel like a bit of a triggering day. This can feel like a day that even as you're experiencing some of these blockages, some unhealthy coping mechanisms may come up, some unhealthy bad modalities of thoughts, like this uncertainty about the future rising up and the sun and its reversal rising up, having a point to potentially trigger you. Be very cautious today about your trigger points, because this is a day where you may feel that temptation to move into more lower vibrational energies as a result of some of the blockage, even while you are feeling at a point of equilibrium. For masculine right now, this is a call. This is a huge call to the masculine energy right now, not to be too rash. Don't be too rash in this moment, because you're struggling right now between a sense of balance and your own devil energy coming up to the surface. So this can be a very triggering day for you today. While for feminine energy right now, again, there is a moment right now where you are going through a moment where you are experiencing some point of balance being reached, some point of equilibrium being reached, but also with a lot of attention directed towards a masculine that you are feeling a lot of attention towards right now, that is coming towards you in a very fast, rapid way, or having a lot of focal point on you right now. And there may be something about this right now that is coming through as a bit triggering, because as we saw right now, you are in a bit, feminine's in a moment right now of not necessarily feeling at their 100% as it relates to sensuality and stability. So there could be something here that triggers the feminine and the way that the masculine approaches feminine today, that if they come on too strongly, may make them feel some anxieties about this being more devil energy, about this being energy that may be leading to unhealthy coping mechanisms, unhealed bad modalities of thoughts, non-healed karmic connections. Feminine has a lot of anxiety around this, about the difference between balance right now or devil energy, and they're basing a lot of their decisions on this, on how the masculine energy is approaching them. And if a masculine energy is approaching them too driven on their own goals, on their own desires, that's going to break the balance to a certain extent and make the feminine feel like it's coming through more in devil energy as opposed to creating balance. So very intriguing, little word of caution right now for both masculine and feminine energies as it relates to today's energetic fields. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between, this is going to feel like a rough day for feminine. This is more of a rough day for feminine today than masculine, because, well, in different ways. For feminine right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment where you are feeling potentially both a lack of feeling like you are in your most amorous situation. Maybe some situations happening this week have made you feel like less than in your most sensual, heart space, open place, feeling a bit more closed in this root chakra energy, but also having to deal with a lot of setbacks as it relates to your own feelings of stability this week. These are both harmonizing with each other, leading to a bit of a perfect storm energy of feeling unloving and a little bit unstable today, but with a lot of focus and concentration on building this sense of stability up for yourself right now. While for masculine, and I'm going to say this again, two different paths here, depending on where you align on this collective masculine. For some masculines right now, this is interpreting a single manifestation of feminine, embodying these qualities. For some of the masculine right now, this could be two different feminine energies around you right now. For masculine, this is having the sensation of the feminine energy either not able to come towards you in as amorous a way as you would desire right now, or feeling to a certain extent that the feminine energy is not only in as amorous a place as you would desire right now, but also feeling like that feminine energy is not really in the most stable point with themselves at this moment, recognizing it and seeing it here with this energy, but also being very committed right now to building a strong foundation around you, both. While for some of the masculine energy right now, this could be appreciating two different feminine energies. One that you feel is the object of your desire, that you feel is not necessarily coming towards you in the way that you would desire them to. The other one not being in a place practically that they can, maybe addressing some issues around their own stability that is blocking them from being able to be supportive in your own for your own self right now. And this is putting a lot of concentration in building your own stability. In the wake of these energies, may I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with Transformation, transformation coming through, transformation coming through, transformation coming through. So what we're really seeing here is this is a moment that is allowing, there's a difficult transformation process happening here. For feminine, this is recognition right now that you yourself are undergoing this transformation process, and that something about this transformation process that you're currently experiencing is resulting in you maybe not feeling like your best version of yourself at this moment, feeling like it is triggering some feelings or anxieties about your own ability to attract desire or abundance towards you right now. And your own anxieties around creating your own sense of stability. But we see you pushing back in a big way against that by concentrating on creating this stability for yourself, even in the moment of feeling these setbacks. And that is the transformation, not letting this stop you, but letting it fortify you in terms of your conviction. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment of transformation, because even in the wake of the feminine energy around you right now, not being able to be in a space where they can be as amorous or as immediately stabilizing and supportive, you are continuing to feel stable and supported. You're not letting it shake your own foundation. And that is the transformation. You're not letting this outside energy impact your own sense of stability at this moment. And that, though it feels difficult to experience, is also the transformation process we're seeing, because that is you not running away when the abandonment wound's being triggered. Good job, masculine. And good job, feminine. Continuing to get clarification on these points between the Three of Pentacles in combination with the Devil energy. So again, having this moment, love this, so important. Having this moment where you are experiencing some of the anxieties. It's not the fact that the non-healthy coping mechanisms aren't coming up, that the unhealed patterns, that the bad modalities of thoughts, that the unhealthy or the unhealed karmic connections aren't rising to the surface right now. But your ability to stay grounded and focused and centered in the wake of them, being able to find that point of grounding even in the face of that energy rising up, hence the transformation. May I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with Judgment in its reversal. This is a point of reconsideration. It's a point of allowing yourself to be able to change your mind about things. It's a point where you are letting yourself reconsider your position on things, adjust your alignment, recognizing that you have changed in the process of this transformation, and that change leads to different outcomes. This is a point, and this is where we see some of that retrograde energy coming into effect, because it's making you have to take a different consideration point on some situations or scenarios around you right now, as you contemplate some of your unhealthy coping mechanisms that rise to the surface, and you're continuing to build this stability for yourself, even in the midst of this. It's leading you to have some different conclusions about things, because you're not letting your mind be affected by this energy rising up. You're keeping very stable and supported in your goals, in your path as it comes up. It's not wavering you, but it is giving you something to consider. So, final card for today's spread between the Death card in combination with the Judgment in its reversal. So a moment right now that is feeling like a lot of transformational energy. These are painful processes that we go through, that this death energy usually requires some point of deep transformation that occurs. And is also allowing in that point of deep transformation, a point of heavy reconsideration on some determinations or decisions that you've made as you adjust and align to where you find yourself in that transformation process. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Three of Cups in its reversal. More than anything right now, what this is potentially leading you to do is move away from certain energies that you feel might only be coming towards you from a point of their own energy. This is not a moment right now where you're seeking any type of energy that you feel is only looking out for their own pleasure, that is only looking out for their own enjoyment. And you're not necessarily in a space where you are moving from a state of moving to move around towards energy that is only seeking pleasure. This is a moment that you're keeping your focus very much on what it is that you're truly seeking in the midst of a transformation process. And some of this has to do with some reconsideration around some of the energy that you are building towards yourself at this point, and really asking yourself if it is aligned towards your own goals right now, or if you want to reject it because you feel like it is operating more from a place of their own sense of enjoyment and leisure instead of taking in consideration your own goals and path. Right? We see that here with the heaviness of the 10 of Cups. Your focus right now is moving towards things that are aligned to your long-term goals, not necessarily to immediate pleasure. Final card for today's spread, bottom of the deck, is 3 of Wands in its reversal. This reconsideration point is coming right now from some issue with a lack of perception about the long-term goals and plans. Feeling like there is something here that feels somewhat obfuscated as it relates to what the plan is going forward. A lot of these decisions becoming determinate right now because I said there is something here about a lack of planning, a lack of communication. And it is that lack of communication or planning or sight that is creating a bit of a blockage, that is creating some of this triggering energy today with that abandonment wound being triggered. So anything that you can do right now to help get clarity in terms of the path going forward is definitely going to help in big ways today. That is our daily collective read for the day. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Also, please keep in mind that if you book a reading with me on my website, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you hit both buttons if you would like to have a reading. My readings are done. Also, please keep in mind, and this is very important, that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a reading. I will never PM you. I will never DM you. I will never inbox you. I will never tell you your great, 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 great cousin 3 times removed asked me to get to you a very important message. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So do that. I want to thank you again for being here and sharing this reading with me today. And we will do this again tomorrow.